Hi, I'm Dean Naidu and welcome to Tipsy Time. Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Tipsy Time. I don't know if most of you are aware, but if you go to specific towns in Durban or in Johannesburg like Mayfair or Lenasia or Lodium, you'll get that wonderful smell of a masala braaiing chicken. And that smell is enough to get anybody to stop off and get themselves some tikka chicken, or actually tandoori chicken. We call it tikka chicken in South Africa, but the actual name for it is tandoori chicken. So we'll be doing that today. I'll be playing around a bit. I'm not going to cut them into quarter legs or breast pieces. I'm going to do a whole chicken, tandoori style. And because I don't have a tandoori oven, I'm going to do it on a rotisserie under coals. So that should give us maybe close to some authentic flavors that you normally would get in India or Pakistan where they make these things. So let's get started. Okay guys, so we'll start with our chicken. I've got about a 1.1 kg chicken, which I'm told is the best way if you're roasting it whole, to get everything to cook all the way through. I've skinned it because as a typical tandoori or tikka chicken, it is generally skinned because they want all those flavors and spices to actually get into every bit of the meat and not just stick to the skin. So I've skinned it. I don't know if it's a really good job. It did have a lot of fat, this chicken. It is a free range chicken though. So yes, you can get it skinned at your butcher or you can do it yourself. Tandoori chicken is a two-step marination process. We're going to start with the first step right now. So let's get started with that. So on our chicken, we're going to make deep scores into the meat because we want that marinade to get all the way down. So we want it quite deep. We'll start with the breast. Do the same on the other breast. We want to try and get it like as close to the bone as possible, if not on the bone. Okay, so there we go. We've got our nice slits in our meats for the marinade to get in. And let's get over to our marinade. Okay, so let's get started with our first step of our marination process. That's going to be 2 heaped teaspoons of Kashmiri chili powder, a teaspoon of garam masala, a teaspoon of black pepper crushed. Let's get that into a bowl. To that, we're going to use the juice of 1 lemon. I freshly squeezed this now. And then about 2 to 3 teaspoons of mustard oil. And last but not least, salt. And this is to taste. We give that a good mix. You can see the beautiful colors of the masala and the mustard oil. It's giving it that good color there. Mix this up properly. And our first step marinade is done. So now we're going to get our chicken. Okay, so we're going to get our step 1 marinade. We're going to get it through. I'm just going to get a lump of it and then I'll get my hands to do some work. Start with the breast. This is your first layer of marinade. This is to basically salt up the chicken nicely and get some of that flavor under the big rich tandoori marinade that's coming next. Okay, so now we're going to pop this into a container and pop it into the fridge for half an hour. So while our chicken is marinating with our first marinade, let's continue with our next one. So to start, we're going to need about 250 grams. I'm using quite a lot because I'm doing it rotisserie style. I'm going to try and keep some of this marinade and baste it along the way. So I'm using a nice thick yogurt. This is double cream. Obviously, I always use double cream, but for this recipe specifically, you should be using double cream or hung yogurt. It's very difficult to find in South Africa. I'll put in the comments how to make your own hung yogurt. Okay, so that's our first step. Then we're going to get in, we've got a teaspoon of garam masala, a teaspoon of cumin powder, and a teaspoon of coriander powder. We'll get that in next. Mix. Next we'll get in 2 teaspoons of Kashmiri chili powder. Then I've got some tandoori masala. Tandoori masala is a mixture of like dried ginger, dried garlic, and there's a whole bunch of the normal spices. But why I like to use this is that it has pigeon peas ground in, which gives tandoori chicken that flavor to me. I feel like if it's missing, it's a problem. But if you don't have this, you can use your favorite masala. I'm getting 2 teaspoons of this as well. Next we have some kasuri methi, which is dried fenugreek leaves. You can get these at any of your Indian or Asian grocers or spice shops. Two pinches of this, just crush it up a bit, maybe a little bit more, and then we'll give the whole thing a good mix. Okay, next we'll add in about a teaspoon of mustard oil and the juice of 1 lemon. And we'll give that a good mix. And next we'll add salt to taste, however much you would like. And lastly, if you've noticed that you've been, if you've been to any tandoori or tikka chicken places, chicken is quite red or orange. That is because they add some food coloring, dry egg yellow food coloring or red Rathanjot food coloring. I'm going to add a little bit. And we'll give that a good mix. Okay, so it's been 35 minutes, and as you can see, the chicken with the first marinade has been nicely soaked in. So it's time to get on to our second one, so let's begin. Okay, so we've got our tikka paste here. I'm just going to get some on. You don't want it to be too thick on this. I'm going to try and get it, use this to try and get in. Also, once again, in the grooves. I made a lot of the second marinade because I'm going to use it as I'm going to use it to baste as the chicken grills, because we're putting on a rotisserie. It may become a bit dry, so we're going to keep basting it to keep it going, and it's one big lump of meat. Let's turn it around. Okay, so we're done. Now we're going to pop this into a refrigerator to marinate for a minimum of 2 to 3 hours. Ideally, this should be left to marinate overnight. Okay, so our chicken has been marinating for 3 hours, 3.5 hours or so. I've got it hooked up onto my rotisserie, and it's time to start cooking. Okay, I've packed the coals up on the sides, and I've got a little drip tray just to stop all the fats from causing flames. And now we'll cover it up, and it should be 2.5 to 3 hours. Okay, so it's been about an hour. The smell is incredible. It smells just like tandoori chicken. We're gonna need to give it another coat of basting now. Okay, we're gonna start with our mint chutney. In India, this chutney or sauce always goes with a tandoori chicken. So we're gonna make some for us now. So we got about 20 grams of mint. So we're gonna add in there. That's about 10 grams of coriander. 1 big garlic. 2 green chilies. Then the juice of half a lemon. And then about 100 ml of yogurt. Then half a teaspoon of cumin powder. And lastly, some salt to taste. And now we blitz it all up together and we have our sauce. Oh yeah, very good. And our mint chutney or mint sauce is done. I'm just going to get this into a nice bowl. Okay, so we're down to our last 15 minutes of cooking. This is where we're going to get some melted butter or ghee. And just baste it with that. Some extra richness and flavor. So our chicken is done, so it's time to get it off our skewer and onto our plate, and time to dig in. So our chicken is done, and now it's time for the main event, tasting and enjoying.
Of course. So thank you for cutting the leg piece for me. I prefer this meat to the breast meat. It's a lot more juicy and succulent. Okay. So it's very soft, very nicely. Smells absolutely divine. It's amazing how the flavors got right through that chicken. It's really, really nice. I'm going to dip it into the mint sauce that we made. This is like seriously good. So it's usually hard to braai chicken purely because it sort of gets cooked too much on the outside, almost burnt, and the inside's not done correctly. So the style of doing it on the rotisserie, I think, was like a really good idea. I think it would still work if you had to do it in an oven. You just have to really control the heat. We'll have to consult with the chef on that one, but I'm pretty sure that it would work in an oven. Flavors are brilliant. It's nice and soft inside, and the outside's got a nice like sort of crust where the flavor sort of fused into it. I'm going to try some of the chips because that's a very South African thing to have tandoori chicken with the chips. But yeah, all in all, delicious. Great.